turn babies into boys, but it's the dads who turn boys into men. And when the dads are absent or emotionally absent, in other words, there but emotionally disconnected, and when they haven't been taught how to be a man, how to stand up and shake hands, you don't just say hi to someone. You stand up, shake hands, make eye contact. If a woman's going up the escalator, you stand behind her. If she's going down the escalator, you stand in front of her. If you're walking on a sidewalk with a woman, a man walks on the street side. You're opening doors for women. You're a savage and a servant. You're a lamb and a lion. Are you going to show up as a passive aggressive man, or are you going to show up as a guy who can protect, provide, and preside, lead his family?
You see, this is good. And I'll even say a lot of stuff he said here, I don't know all the little definitions here, but for the most part, 95% of the stuff, I like what he's saying, because even in Israel, guys, one thing I'm noticing with this generation that I'm noticing, even in Israel, a lot of young men, because of maybe growing up in broken homes or just the society, a lot of men don't know how to lead their home. A lot of times, especially being in a patriarch ministry like Straightway Choose Ministry, we just expect a woman just to be perfect, obedient, but we don't have any expectation of ourselves that we need to lead this woman. We need to lead her. We need to give her instructions, just like a head coach. That's like having a football. I'm a head coach of a football team, and then I go to the GM that hired me to go win Super Bowls. I say, well, I don't know why we're winning, because the players won't do what I tell them to do. That's why we hired you, so you make them do what you want them to do so they can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly.
But that wouldn't fly. No one would expect, if a coach comes on TV and says the players won't do what I tell them to do, and that's why we're losing. I told them to do this, and we voted, and they didn't want to practice. I'm like, what the? They will fire that head coach and get somebody who can do the job.
Out of order, yeah.
And so a lot of time men, I gotta speak to the men on this. A lot of time, you guys got to consider, when your wife is going through some stuff, what are you doing? What's going on in your life? Maybe there's something that you're doing in the privacy that no one knows except for Yah and yourself and your wicked heart. And your wife is here struggling, trying to figure things out, wondering why she's being spiritually attacked, because the head is sick. And you just, because of your sinful, wicked life, you literally open up the door and allow Satan to torment your wife and your children.
Doesn't the word say to water her with the word? But if you're not in the word, how can you water?
Exactly. How can you water her, nourish her, keep her warm, cherish her? That's what the word says. So a lot of these guys are sitting here blaming their women why they're not where they need to be, but the men are not there. You expect more from your woman than you expect from yourself. And you're not even leading. You're not even in the word. You're not even connected to the Most High Yah, to your master. But you want your wife to walk with you lockstep in your stupidity. So I'm telling you guys, I mean, brothers, we have some great leaders in this ministry that's been ordained, community heads. You need to go to these men and ask them how to be a man. You should be at their feet asking them questions on how to lead their home.
Yeah.
I'm telling you about my woman, Bree. I feel like Bree is grown, but guess what? Bree's not growing on her own. I have to pour into her. I have to water her. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes you may get frustrated. Deacon, sometimes you do get frustrated. And Deacon always comes back and says, but does she have potential? Does she have potential? I say, yeah, okay.
But you do the same thing. Hey, you do the same thing with me, though. You gotta calm me down. So I know. Deacon, be merciful.
We so gracious. We so gracious to another man's woman, but when it comes to our woman, shit, we ready to just like, man. But then he reminds me to love her.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to put ourselves in the same thing. Yeah. We want Yah to our master to give up on us.
But see, that's the proper order. We have brotherhood. We sharpen each other, right? We talk. I don't know how many times I've asked you questions about rearing and what do I do in this situation with my woman. I'm looking at you. How many times have you heard me be like, "What do you do with your family?" Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing. You probably feel first like, man, this guy's always copying me, man. I got to find something unique here.
But you speaking truth, and look at the fruit. Look at the fruit of our children. When people see our children, they're well behaved, well mannered. They're not running around, but because they're trained. That's on purpose. These children don't just grow up acting trained. You have to train them. You have to discipline them. If you can get something in your mind as you men, think like you're a coach or something.
Yeah,
you're a coach. Your women are your assistant coaches, and your children are the players. And you got to pour into your coaches, your assistant coaches, so they can pour into the players and be able to produce the type of things you want. You have to have an expectation. I remember asking one brother, what's your vision for your family? What do you mean? I said, right there, you're done. You don't even have a vision for your family, but you expect your woman, your children to know what you want. And you don't even, where there's no vision, to people what?
Perish.
You at the head. And I'm asking you for your vision for your house. And you ask me, what do you mean? What do you mean?
And there's no excuse, because Pastor talks about this stuff, man. There's no, I mean, it's Elder, you talk about it. Pastor, Elder Rufus talks about it. I mean, it's just an unwilling heart at that point. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, like, I have a vision. If you ask me what's my vision for my family, to lead my family in Yah's everlasting ways.
That would take up a whole show. Just
right
to try to explain that.
When it comes to the community, it's the same thing. But I always emphasize, be faithful in the little. That's where this be faithful in the little comes from.
Yeah.
And it hits everything. That means every time when I say be faithful, but fiddle, we can say they know exactly what it means. We do everything at a high level, even when it comes to the minutia, to the little things. We are faithful, not just the big things. We're faithful even when it comes to little, taking out the trash, cleaning the toilet, working with you. We try to be faithful in the little. That's what we do. Not even try. I don't even like using the word try. That's what we do. We're faithful in the little.
Yeah.
Period. So have a vision for what you're trying to do. And then when you have a vision and you set the expectation, go inspect the expectation. Inspect what you expect.
Yep.
If you expect the ends to be here, then you need to go in there and making sure that the people that you're leading is meeting those expectations. Go inspect it. Sometimes people just tell their women or children to go do something, but they never go check on their work to see if it's done because they're too lazy. They are too lazy to go check. You don't just bark commands. You got to go in there and make sure it's done.
Yeah, that's what it means to lead a family. Yep.
I mean, in the beginning, you may have to do a lot of the work, show and everything. I was just thinking about this leadership meeting. The first time, when Bree's trying to get to understand how I want things to be done and boom, 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 I was very involved. I got to admit, guys, this last one was probably one of our best. What do you think, Deacon? I'm just thinking. I thought it was one of the best, right?
Yeah, there's obviously always room.
Always room, and you know us. We would nitpick ourselves. What could we have done better? And we found things we could do better.
Oh yeah,
things of that nature. But I probably was not as involved in the details like I've been accustomed to in the past because Bree and the other sisters did just an amazing job. Sister Evan and all the other sisters here. They did an amazing job in doing all that stuff. They knew what the standard was. They knew exactly what I was looking for. I came in, checked it here and there, but for the most part, they did. I just kind of walked around and made some tweaks here and there, but for the most part, and Deacon, you play a part in that too, getting everything that we needed to make this thing happen.
Oh yeah.
But you got to inspect what you expect. So brothers, come on. You can't expect your woman. I mean, you're supposed to say, my yoke is light and easy. You're supposed to say, hey, women, children, hey, take on my yoke for it's light and easy. And then thank God we have our master. We can take his yoke and light, and because his yoke and light is easy for us.
That's it.
But so many of you guys want to take this heavy load, this spiritual load, and you put it on your woman and want her to figure it out. Expect her to be way more spiritual. While your lazy ass just sit there and do whatever. Yeah, okay, you working, you're hiding behind because you can work, you provide, but you're not spiritually connected to the Most High Yah. And your woman's being rat-tat-tat-tatted by Satan and his demons because you're not protecting her. So we got to start looking at us, brothers, and saying, what are we doing? If your house is not right, the first thing you should do is look in the mirror and see what is it that you're not doing. What are you doing that's causing a curse to be messing with your home? And once you inspect yourself, then you can now look at the other people and what they're doing.
Exactly.
Does that? Maybe I'm being
no,
fair.
I mean, what you're bringing is you're bringing balance, Elder. I mean, because obviously you can be one-sided. In Christianity, that teaches is all the man's fault, and then you can easily be on this as all the women's fault. But what this ministry does, it brings a balance. Let's look at the whole picture. Let's consider everything. So you're right on point.
So My word to all the brothers out there, you guys need deliverance. If you got stuff that you've been dealing with that you haven't dealt with, you need to get there. This is a deliverance ministry. I told you, I met a brother, a man that's not even in the faith. This man, a Christian, and he's dealing with this stuff, and he's the man dealing with this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, guys, if there's stuff that you haven't overcome, because here's the beauty: when you get your deliverance, guess what? Now you will have what it takes to teach your woman how to get her deliverance. But how can you help her to get her deliverance if you haven't overcome anything?